Have you ever wondered where gold actually came from? To answer that, we first need to look at the stars. So, if you were not aware, metals like gold, silver, platinum, etc., did not originally come from Earth. These metals, like gold, are literally cosmic travelers from space, which were formed billions of years ago during two major events. First, the huge explosion of stars, which we call supernova, and second, the collision between neutron stars. These two events create the possible conditions needed for these elements to form. Don't worry, let's break it down even more so it's easier to understand. A supernova is a huge explosion that happens when a star runs out of fuel. Now, what does that mean? Well, firstly, if you did not know, stars shine because they burn hydrogen in their core. Core basically means the center. So, in this case, we are talking about the hydrogen burning in the center of our star. Now, in the core, the pressure is so high that the hydrogen atoms literally slam into each other and they end up fusing together, eventually becoming helium. This process is called nuclear fusion. This nuclear fusion causes the release of a lot of energy, which makes the star shine and give off heat. So now we know that the main fuel in stars that makes them shine is mostly hydrogen. Now when the star uses up all of its hydrogen, it runs out of energy and as a result, the gravity causes the star to collapse. Pay attention. So if the star is large enough, this collapse causes a huge explosion which we call a supernova. But if the star is smaller, no supernova occurs when it collapses because it isn't as dramatic. Now, coming back to the topic of this video, when a supernova happens, it creates the right conditions for elements like gold to form, and these elements travel through space and eventually reach our Earth and other planets. Another way gold is formed is through the collision of the neutron stars. Now, what are neutron stars? Neutron stars are what's left after a huge star has already exploded in a supernova. So, basically, if I were to define it in simple words, I would say the leftover pieces of stars after a supernova are called neutron stars. Let's continue. So, sometimes two neutron stars are in a system together, orbiting around each other, and over time, what happens is that they get closer and closer until they eventually collide. This collision releases a lot of energy. This energy from the collision is so strong that it causes all the squeezing of the smaller particles together, and by particles, I mean neutrons and protons. Okay, eventually creating elements like gold, where gold has 79 protons and 118 neutrons. After gold was created in space during the supernova and neutron star collision processes, it traveled through the universe as dust and tiny particles. When Earth was forming billions of years ago, this gold got mixed into the planet. Most of the gold ended up deep within the Earth's core because heavier elements naturally sank towards the center during the Earth's early formation. However, a significant amount of gold was also delivered to the Earth's surface by meteors, which are basically chunks of rocks from space that crashed into the planet after it had formed. Over millions of years, the volcanic activity, the movement of water, and erosion eventually brought some of this gold closer to the Earth's surface, making it accessible to us. Gold is usually found in underground mines where it is extracted from the rocks, and it can also be found in riverbeds. Because gold is heavy, it settles at the bottom of the rivers, often getting trapped in sand and gravel. People would search for gold in these riverbeds by washing the gravel and sand to separate the gold. So now you probably know that gold is expensive because it is rare, difficult to extract, and as we all know, it is highly valued for its beauty and usefulness in things like electronics and jewelry. If you ever wondered where gold comes from, now you know its journey from the stars to the earth, literally.